Hello students. Now we will start the next unit, and that is third unit, database management system. And in this we will start with the very first session, and this is introducing database. So basically when we talk about database, a database is a collection of interrelated records which are stored at a single place. Means that similar kind of records which are interrelated, and all those records when they are stored at a single place, that is termed as a database. A DBMS application, that is database management system, helps to arrange all these interrelated data to be stored at a single place. So basically when we talk about a database is a record of a single business or company. All the different kind of information related to these business or any industry, they all are stored at a single place and can be managed through any DBMS application. A number of DBMS applications are there which can be connected to the database to access the information from the database, and new DBMS applications can be. See, when we do not work in a database and when we work in a file processing system, what happens that different kinds of informations are stored in different files, and then from there the major problem starts. All these files may contain information about a particular entity, and it may happen that in future we want to modify some record. So it may happen that when we modify the record, we modify a record in a particular file, and the information related to that particular entity is there in some other records also, and we may miss out to modify the record there. So it will happen that two different types of records will be there in two different files of same entity. Say for example, a student is coming to school. He has some records in the school. One record, say for example, of his bus through which it is coming, and the other record is his academic. Say for example, he wants to change his phone number which is given to the school, and when he gives that application to change the phone number, it may happen that the phone number is changed, but that change occurred only in one file, that is the school record, and that phone number is not modified in the record of his bus records. So at that moment, what will happen? Ki that student will have two phone numbers at the same time, so there the data will mismatch. Two different kinds of informations are there now of same person in two different files. So this is the major problem which will happen if the records are stored in file processing system. So just to eliminate all these error, what we can do is we can store these kinds of records using DBMS applications, and we can create databases for storing record. This will minimize all the different kinds of errors. So when we talk about database, basically database do not stores information in multiple file. Rather than that, it centrally stores all the data at one place. So the advantage of storing the data at one place is we can maintain that data quite easily. Say for example, as I have given the example previously of phone number chain, and if this was the case in database, the phone number was supposed to be changed only once, and wherever that phone number occurred in that database, all at places, the phone number will be changed automatically. So in this way, the records can be maintained quite easily, and two different kinds of information is there are a number of advantages of using database for storing the important records of any organization or institute or any company. The very first advantage of database is it reduces the data redundancy. See, data redundancy means duplication of data. As I said earlier, that when we use a database, all the records are centrally stored at a single place. So, when it is stored at a single place, there is no chances of duplication of data. Likewise, when we use non-database, a number of applications are there and different kinds of files are there where information about the single thing is stored. uh, Say for example, a school is storing separate file for bus, separate file for school records, separate file for some other records. So it may happen that they may make some changes in some file and they may miss out in some file, and then some duplication of data may occur. But when we store the data in a database format using a DBMS application, this duplication of data is eliminated. Now there will be no more duplication of data. The second advantage is the database controls data inconsistency. See, the very first point itself confirms that when we use a database, there will be no data inconsistency. There will be no duplication of data, and two different kinds of information related to a single entity will not be there. We can see that if we do not follow the database management system, there is a possibility that of a single person two different kinds of information can be there. But when we use a DBMS application, when we store the data in a database, we will not get two different kinds of information about a single entity or a single person. We will get the same record every time, and that same record will be accessed by all the users. So basically we can say that when there will be no data redundancy, then there will be no data inconsistency also. So that is all possible because of database. The next advantage of database is sharing of data. When we use database to store informations, the data can be shared not only with the existing application, DBMS application which we are using, but it can be shared with other DBMS applications also, and a number of new users can also register themselves to access the data stored in a database. New applications can also be created which can be connected to the database to access the information stored in the database. So data can be shared easily using a DBMS application. The next advantage is a database follows a standard. See, following a standard means a particular standard is there which is applicable to all the database by which they store the information, and that standard is national also and international also. Same standard is followed all over. See, that will that standard will make it easier for the other applications. We have two different kinds of databases. One is known as flat database and the other one is termed as relational database. See, flat databases are those databases which stores all the information in a single file. Means every information related to a particular industry, company will be stored in a single file. And when we talk about relational database, the relational database stores all the information of a industry or of a company or of a institute in different tables. Means different types of information of a particular industry will be stored in different table. All these table will be linked together through a common field, and when this happens it is termed as relational database. So when we talk about flat database, spreadsheet applications are the best example of flat databases. And when we talk about relational data, so the DBMS application which we will be studying to store the data centrally at one place will be OpenOffice Base. So basically it is a RDBMS, that is Relational Database Management System. That means it stores information in multiple tables and all these tables are interlinked together. So basically when we work on OpenOffice Base, it stores all the information with an extension .odb, that stands for OpenOffice Database. It creates a number of things. The very first thing it creates is it creates table, and on the basis of tables a number of more things are created, and those are queries, forms, and so basically, when we talk about tables in a database, tables are the most important components of a database. Each and every information is stored in tables. A table stores informations in a number of fields, and all these fields, when they come together, they make up or they create a record. Each and every column is termed as a field. Say for example, name column is a field, age column is a field, address column is a field. And when we take a row, a single row will contain a number of fields: name, age, address, phone number. So that row will be termed as a record. Every table has one single field which carries unique record. Unique record means it has the record which do not duplicates itself. All the records will be different from each other. Say for example, it can be roll number, it can be enrollment number, it can be salesman number. So all these entries do not replicates. For different person these numbers will be different. So every table contains a field which has unique record. Means in that field all the entries will be different from each other. They will not be replicating or duplicating. And later these unique fields will only help to connect multiple tables together. These unique fields are only termed as primary key fields. Means the field which contains a unique record through which the tables can be connected together, these fields are termed as primary key fields. And these primary key fields helps the user to connect multiple tables together to create a database. So we not only have primary key, but apart from that we have a number of more keys like composite primary key and alternate primary key. So let's see what are these keys. So basically now you know that what is primary key. Primary key is a field which contains all the unique record, means every record is different from each other. The next type of key is termed as composite primary key. Sometimes it may happen that a single field cannot act as a primary key. So for that we need to use two different fields, and those two different fields will combine together to create unique records. It may happen that a field may contain duplicate records. So in that cases we can take two different fields as primary key, and then these two fields will be termed as composite primary key. Now those two fields together will have two different values, and those two values will become unique values. So it is termed as composite primary key. The last is alternate key. See, it may happen that in a table more than one field can have values which are unique. Say for example, a table has two fields. One field is roll number and other field is admission number. So naturally we know that roll numbers are different for every student if it is of a single class, and admission number certainly will be different for different students. So what we can do is we can set one field as primary key, and the other field will automatically become alternate key. So we can see that we have three different types of fields like primary key field, composite primary key, and alternate key. So all these are different from each other. We have one more type of key, and that is termed as candidate key. See, basically candidate keys are those fields which are eligible to become a primary key field. So it may happen that in a table a single field can be a primary key field, and in the same table a number of more fields can become primary key field. So in this case all these fields which are eligible to become primary key field are termed as candidate key. And the last type of key we have is we have foreign keys. So OpenOffice base has a number of components. We discuss about tables. The next components which it creates is queries, form, and report. So when we talk about queries, basically queries are the filtered data from a number of tables. See, in a database a number of tables are there. It stores different kinds of information about a single thing, and say for example we want some particular information from all those tables, some from one table to records, from other tables some more records, and some other table the records, means we want different records from different tables and we want to display it at a single place. So query is a tool through which we can access all the tables, and we can filter out data from multiple table and we can bring it on a single place. Say for example three tables are there. One table contains record about a student like name, age, address. Other table contains name, phone number, and qualification. The other table contains some other records, and somebody wants information about only name, phone number, address, and some other thing, and all these informations are stored in multiple tables. So with the query we can filter out different data from all these table and we can keep it on a single place. So it is termed as query. The next thing is form. See, forms are basically the interface through which the data can be entered also and can be viewed also, and the data can be changed also. That thing will be reflected directly in the table. Means when we design a form, we are designing an interface through which we can not only see the data but we can modify and enter new data also. And all these modifications are reflected back in the table. So basically we have tables. The very first thing is we create tables, and after table we create form. So what we can do is, in the form we can give only few fields, and we will be seeing only those fields in the form, and we can modify only those fields which are visible in the form. So basically forms are the interface which lets us to see the data and the record and to modify the record, and that happens directly in the table. The last thing is report. We have informations in tables, we have information in queries, we have information in forms, and if we need to present these information to somebody, what we can do is we can create a report, and that report can be printed and can be presented to somebody. That means if